All right. Hi, class. Good afternoon, and welcome to our first lesson for the semifinals, which is on lesson planning 101. Now, I want you as uh, pre-service teachers, I want you to know how you can write a lesson plan. But remember that lesson plan is a technical writing output. So always remember all of the things that we have talked about. For example, uh, if we're going to look at the five trait rubric, you're going to follow that one in writing your lesson plan. Now, allow me to walk you through the parts of the lesson plan according to DepEd's lesson exemplar framework. Now, inika sugod yun ninyo o teach, you are just going to have these exemplars already. You're going to teach it right away. But for our exercise, for technical writing, you will be writing your own lesson plan. So let's get started. What are the contents of a lesson exemplar? So there are technically four subdivisions of a lesson exemplar. We have content, curriculum, standards, and lesson competencies. We also have learning resources. The third one is teaching and learning procedure. And fourth one is evaluating learning, formative assessment, and teachers' reflection. So those are the uh, four main parts of a lesson exemplar. Now, for the first part, the curriculum content rather, standards and lesson competencies, you see this one on your screen, and uh, this shows you how it looks like inside the lesson plan. So, let me move to the next slide and show you the content standards, performance standards, and learning competencies. You can see this in the revised Matatag curriculum. So I will give you a link in Blackboard so that you can access the Matatag curriculum. But I'm letting you know that so far they're just piloting. They have piloted grade 7 last year, and this year they will be piloting grade 8. So dili pa kayo ito makakita og materials for grade 8, but I will be showing you the grade 7, and this is what you're seeing on your screen right now. So ang kanang content standards and performance standards and learning competencies, i-copy paste ta gyud ninyo siya sa inyong lesson plan or sa inyong lesson exemplar. Okay, so just copy and paste the content standards, performance standards, and the learning competencies. Now, I will be asking you now to write the objectives. So after ninyo na copy paste ang katong tulo, the next one is objectives. It should answer the question, what should the participants be able to do? Or in other words, unsay mabuhat sa imuhang mga estudyante. So, just a basic few lang guidelines on objective making. It has to be first clearly stated. So dapat ang inyong paghimo sa objective, it should be free from jargon and complex vocabulary. Diba? It's just like technical writing. So, walay jargon, walay complex vocabulary, describe specific and achievable tasks and not vague tasks. So these are the tasks na inyo ibutang sa inyong objectives for your students or something good na mabuhat good sa mga students ninyo and not vague tasks. Like for example, mm, discuss the relationship between X and Y. That's vague. So you have to be specific. How are they going to discuss? So, like that. Next is achievable. It has to be achieved within the given period and sufficient resources are available. Now, in the Matatag curriculum lesson plan, the lesson plan is actually a lesson plan for a week. So you have 4 days to actually give out the lesson to your students. So it has to be achievable within that week. So 1 week equals to 4 days. So you have, and then ang per lesson ninyo per day is only 40 minutes. So dapat paigo gud ninyo inyong time for that. And then lastly, it's demonstrable and measurable. So you can be able to demonstrate it, and then it can be measured as well. So it can be demonstrated in a tangible way, makitaan yun nimo nga mao na gyud na ang performance of the objective, and it can be assessed as well. Now, how do we make objectives? Now there are two uh, there are two domains in creating objectives, and I'm not asking you nga dapat do kani yung one for each domain ha, depende na gyud na ninyo sa inyong lesson na inyong buhaton kung unsa ang inyong unsay domain. Depende sa domain na inyong ma-identify. So first domain according to Bloom's taxonomy is remembering and understanding. So just a review lang, if you have not had this before, remembering is recognizing or recalling knowledge, facts, or concepts. So very basic ka ng retrieving lang of information or retrieving of knowledge. And you can see the verbs nga that are usually used in remembering. So no, you have there define, describe, identify, so on and so forth. That can be used for the remembering uh, domain. Okay? Next one is understanding. So understanding is where you are asking your students now to explain the material that has been learned or to explain the topic that they have learned. So how will they do this one? So we have here the verbs. We have illustrate, defend, compare, distinguish, estimate, explain, classifies, and all of those words can be used to show understanding. Okay? So take note of those verbs as well. Now, after the knowledge domain, we have now the skills domain. This is where really I want you to put a good number of your objectives. So for example, in yung objectives kay tulo ka bug inyong objectives. At least duha ani kay naa sa skills domain. Kay mao man ang pinaka-importante. Where we have applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So ato ta sa first one with applying. Now, in applying, this is where you use ideas and concepts to solve problems. So, again, remember applying is when you use the ideas that you have learned uh, to solve problems or to solve issues or to solve something in your lesson. So, pakita ninyo dira ang mga verbs na gamiton. We have apply, demonstrate, illustrate, interpret, dramatize, and so on and so forth. You can use those verbs as well. Next, we have analyzing. Now, analyzing is breaking something, or let's say, for example, breaking a topic into components, seeing relationships and an overall structure. Now, what does this mean? So, analyzing is basically you are going to ask them to uh, explain further the topic or mo deep dive sila into a topic. And this is where you get the verbs analyze, categorize, compare, differentiate, examine, experiment, distinguish, infer, verify, deduce, or correlate. So you want the students to see relationships between uh, uh, relationships and structure sa imuhang tudlo. So that is analyzing. Next is evaluating. Now in evaluating, you make judgments based on criteria and standards. So this is where mo decide sila whether sakto ba or dili. Uh, Usually the exams that I give you, usually na evaluating ni siya kay, di ba? I will ask you whether this is correct or not. So that falls under evaluating. So you see there some of the verbs that we use for evaluating. We have choose, critique, judge, measure, conclude, recommend, justify, validate, or support. So something like that. And lastly, as a skills domain, we have the creating. Now, in the creating, this is where you develop a hypothesis or you invent a product or you produce something. So this is where the verbs build comes in, compose, create, uh, construct, design, develop, so on and so forth. Okay? Now, in creating your objectives, it has to be at least three objectives na inyong gamiton. And again, two of those objectives must be on the skills domain. And then ang other one will be on the knowledge domain. Okay? And again, remember, sa criteria nato in how to create objectives, it has to be clearly stated. That means uh, it's not vague. There's no vague language there. It's achievable, something that students can do over the course of 4 days, and demonstrable and measurable. So that means makuha nila, ma-measure nimo ang objective. So for example, mag-objective mo og uh, Example, imong objective kay uh, discuss the parts of a book. Unsaon man nila pag-demonstrate sa parts of a book? Wala, di ba? So, sayop ang imong objective. So, might as well uh, perform an activity where they are going to point out parts of the book with a peer. So, something like that. So, you can use that one in your objectives. Again, clearly stated, achievable, and then measurable or demonstrable. Next, we go to the next part, which is the content. Now, on content, you're going to write the topic of your lesson. So, your lesson plan will be about what topic man. So, mao na inyong ibutang sa content. Now, for integration, you see there, integration, you ask yourself, what United Nations Sustainable Development Goals can this lesson be integrated to? So, I want you to search as well the UN SDGs and see kung sa kanan yung lesson unsa man ninyo ma-integrate ana, or pwede pod, or what other topics can this lesson be integrated to. For example, you want ang inyong lesson kay mo touch siya about uh, uh, the current war in Iran. So connected siya to AP, Araling Panlipunan. So for example, maana mo nga kanang kuan kanang uh, Middle East conflict. So pwede ra gyud na siya nga integration ninyo. Okay? Now we go to the learning resources. Very quick ra gyud ni, because you're just going to list down all of the references that you've used in your lesson in APA 7th edition format. So make sure that you do that one. And then the next one is the teaching and learning procedure. Now, this is going to be a little bit long. So allow me to help you through this one. And this is how it looks like. First part pa lang ni daan sa teaching and learning procedure. So, naay tab here, or not, sorry, column here. We have A, activating prior knowledge, which is like the title of the activity, not title of the activity, but what the activity is about. The second one, this column over here in the middle, is your instructions to the students. And the third one is note to the teachers. So, ang inyong ibutang diri sa notes to the teachers is what will happen. So, or unsa may buhaton sa mga students. For example, students will accomplish the crossword puzzles. Short activity review should be accomplished. So, and then the answer keys as well, if necessary in your lesson. Now, teaching learning procedure in the lesson exemplar framework details the steps and the activities the teachers and the learners will do during the lesson towards the achievement of the lesson's objective. So it's very important that you take note that everything that is done inside the teaching and learning procedure will contribute to the achievement of the objectives you have given ganiha. Okay? Very important to take note of that. Next is it describes the learning experiences that learners will go through in understanding and mastering the lessons content. So unsa may mga buhat to nun sa mga students. Remember that keyword. Learners will go through. So that means you're going to write sa katubitang notes to the teachers. Inyo ibutang yun perspective sa students. So the students writes, or the student writes, or the class is divided into two. So, ang class gyud ang imuhang subject for this part or portion kaning teaching and learning experience. And teachers may utilize procedures that are generally recognized and accepted in their field of specialization. So sa English, very versatile, makaayo ta, daghan man kay tag pwede naman pa-activities sa itong mga students. And we have the freehand kung unsa na mga activities atong buhat sa ilaha. Now, it will also depend on the instructional strategies and methods that a teacher will use to teach the lesson. So depende na gyud na sa teacher kung unsaon niya pag-deliver sa klase or pag-deliver sa instruction. Flexibility is also encouraged in the implementation of the lesson procedure, and changes in the procedure are allowed based on time constraints. So for example, na ay short program sa eskwelahan, so pwede ra gyud na ninyo ma-adjust ang inyong teaching and learning procedure. Now, the teaching learning procedure is divided into four parts as well. Uh, and this is first is activating prior knowledge. Second is establishing lesson content. The third one is developing and deepening understanding. And last one is making generalization. So, all of those four things we will be discussing, starting with the first one, activating prior knowledge. And this is what activating prior knowledge looks like. Now, what are we going to do here as teachers? Now, in this portion, in activating prior knowledge, you're going to connect the lesson with the learner's prior knowledge. So, unsa may mga nahibaw-an sa mga students before, or in your case, in naghibuhat ninyo sa inyong lesson plan, mag-assume mo kung unsa ilang na nakatunan before. Okay, so that is how you connect prior knowledge and explicitly teaches the learners how the new lesson connects to the previous lesson. Unsa may connect sa kani among bag-o nga lesson, sir or ma'am? This is where you're going to put that activity to connect the new lesson to the previous lesson, and it reviews and presents new lessons in a systematic manner. Now, what are the parts in activating prior knowledge? Now, the first part in activating prior knowledge is we have the short review. A short review is basically a very brief activity designed to activate the prior knowledge. Again, by revisiting the lessons that you have previously learned related to the lesson. So, pwede ni siya og, quick focus task. So, that means very short activities lang good that can be done individually, by pair, or by group, or as a whole class. So, very short lang yun siya nga activity just to jog their memory lang, okay, and activate their prior knowledge. Now, the second part of activating prior knowledge is the feedback. Now, in the feedback, humana mo activity, di ba? Humana mo activity sa katong kaning short review. Now, kaning sa feedback is the students will reflect on and demonstrate their understanding on the previously learned concepts. So you ask them questions, explain unsa ang mga nahitabo ana nga, uh, unsa ilahang, let's say for example, napabuhat mo activity sa short review. The feedback, you ask them, how did it help you? Or for a while, let me check the example. So pareha ani sa feedback sa activating prior knowledge, ipa-recall niya ang unsa ilang mga na-learn in Philippine literature the previous years na naa sila murag chart. So you can ask your students to do that one as well. But it has to be connected to your short review. Kaya short review, nagpa-activity man sila about puzzle. Puzzle about sa na ilang na-learn pag grade 7. So, yun ana siya. So we go. Okay, we're done with this. Next one is establishing lesson purpose. Mo ni ang second part sa procedures. So establishing lesson purpose. Na unsa may mahitabo diri sa establishing lesson purpose. Now, in this establishing lesson purpose, it is a phase that clarifies the lesson's directions and relevance by linking it to real world context and prior knowledge. So you connect it to the outside world. And it uses brief stimuli and key vocabulary to help learners understand the purpose of the lesson and prepare for the new content. So, and we will talk about the parts sa kaning establishing lesson purpose. First part we see here is the number one, lesson purpose. So, ang kaning sa lesson purpose, ang activity na inyong ibuhat diri or inyong ihatag sa mga students, it has to motivate the learner to learn the new lesson, or you introduce the topic to the students. For example, you will have a topic on Afro-Asian literature. So that's like grade 8, 'di ba? So, unsaon man ninyo pag motivate sa ilaha to learn Afro-Asian literature. So, let's say for example, magbutang baron ka og mga uh, landmarks. in Asia and Africa, and you ask them, "Oh, asa man ninyo makitaan ang kaning landmark X?" "Ah, ma'am, diri na ninyo makitaan sa landmark Y," or whatever. So you do that you do that activity. So you are now trying to motivate them to learn the new lesson, which is on Afro-Asian literature. So it encouraged them as well to ask questions about the new topic and helps establish a reason for learning the new lesson. Now, the second part in establishing lesson purpose is to unlock content vocabulary. So there are words, phrases, and sentences that are that the students, that the students might find difficult to understand. So your role as a teacher now is to focus on these words that may have been forgotten, makalimtan sa mga students, or they have found difficulty in understanding these contents as well. So you have to share to them, oy, unsa may meaning aning prose, or unsa may meaning aning uh, whatever, unsay hard na mga words sa inyong lesson. So as teachers, tanawon din nyo daan ang mga hard na mga words sa inyong lesson. So unsa may mga lisod na mga words na ma-encounter sa inyong mga students sa inyong lesson. So you list it down and then unlock it during this portion of your lesson plan. Okay? So unlocking content vocabulary. Now, the third one, and for me, is the most crucial part of the lesson plan, is developing and deepening understanding. So, unsa ba itong buhaton, ani? What will we do with this? So first, what you're going to do is you address the key idea for the lesson. So key idea or the main idea of the lesson, what the topic will be about. Next is it involves understanding the concept of key idea. So unsa man nila pagsabot sa main idea ana nga lesson, and it reviews and presents lessons in a systematic manner. So how are you going to do this? Unsa unay nato? First part rather is the explicitation. Now, explicitation, this is where you as a teacher, you make the concepts, the skills, or the processes na needed para masabtan ang lesson. It has to be clear and explicit. That means klaro pa sa tanang klaro. Dili ninyo tago-tago pa na po may mga na po may kuan pa games. Itudlo na dayon ninyo ang unsay dapat ninyo itudlo sa mga students. So, it involves direct explanation, modeling. You model the behavior, you model the thing that the students have to learn for your lesson, and guided discussion. So, kung mag-discuss mo, let's say for example, mag-discuss mo about points of view, unsa man ang mga points of view in literature. So, diri ninyo isulti sa explicitation. And this is needed to ensure that the learners understand the lesson content accurately before moving to practice or application. Now, another step here is the worked example. Now, a worked example is a step-by-step demonstration on how to perform a task or solve a problem using that particular topic. For example, ang inyong topic ay about uh, point of view. So unsa man yung pag-determine unsay point of view sa kana nga literature. So maghatag ba ron ka guidelines? So wala tong buhaton ha. So i-demonstrate nimo. So this is now watch me do it. Dili ni watch me nay ha. Watch me do it lang. Okay? So this is something that you demonstrate to the class. So it shows the correct process, thinking, or expected output. And this allows your learners to observe and understand the procedure. Unsaon man pagbuhat, ma'am patanawa mi para makabalo mi unsaon sunod. Basically, that's this worked example portion. Before attempting similar task independently. So ma'am tudlo imi unsaon na siya. So that is your worked example. Next one is lesson activity. Now, ang kaning lesson activity, this is a structured task already where they will actively apply the concepts and skills presented in the lesson. So, this time, sa lesson activity, the students are doing guided or independent practice. Unsa pasabot aning guided and independent practice? Sir, that means guided practice is imo sila gikuyugan para mabuhat nila ang task, or sila na gyud mismo ang nagbuhat sa task. And very important here as well in our lesson where uh, you are going to demonstrate understanding, develop mastery, and engage meaningfully with the content. Now, the next part in the procedures is actually making generalizations. Now, last part, making generalizations. Now, unsa man ninyong buhaton aning making generalizations? So, in making generalizations, as teachers, this will conclude the lesson already by asking students good questions that will help them cement their learning so that they can declare knowledge and demonstrate their skills. So basically, these are just questions that you ask your students just to check whether uh, na crystallize ba gyud sa ilahang huna-huna ang imuhang topic or wala. So, it is also designed to offer a student-focused wrap-up to the main intentions of the lesson, helping students reflect on their progress, achievement of goals, and their performance and understanding during the lesson. And teachers can also integrate instructional methods, philosophies, and strategies to support the foundation of educational learning. Basically, to sum it up, making generalizations is when you, as a teacher, you ask questions to the students to wrap up your lesson. So mahuman na imong lesson ani. Now, unsay parts aning making generalization? First part is learner's takeaways. So this is a synthesis part for the students where they are going to articulate, maybe ipasuwat nimo sa ilaha or ipa-verbally discuss. So for me, mo suggest yung kung nga inyo na lang yun ipasuwat. Kay namo uban ng mga students nga mauwaw pa. So might as well ipasuwat na lang yun siya. So articulate the key concepts or insights gained from the lesson. And it focuses on summarizing essential ideas to reinforce understanding and retention. So ask them to summarize. Maybe one of your questions will be, what have you learned so far? What have you learned in our lesson for the week? Or something like that. Now, the next one is reflection on learning. So, ask them, unsa may, uh, how did the lesson help you understand this or that topic? So, makita ninyo sa example. Wait, let me forward you in a few slides. There you go. Kita ninyo ang duha ka questions there. Learners takeaways and reflection on learning. So sa first palangdaan nga question, makita ninyo summarize how characters are described or characterized in a literary text. Then sa reflection, how does the topic help in understanding and analyzing a short story? So this time students have to, write or share unsay lang mga nakatunan and how it will help them achieve the bigger goal, which is sa kaninga topic is analyzing a short story. So mao na siya ang ato ang two parts of making generalization, which is learners takeaways and reflection on learning. Now, the last part in the lesson exemplar is the evaluating learning. So formative assessment and teacher reflection. And this is how it looks like. And basically unsay buhaton dire is first, this is a phase where now we measure the learner's understanding of the lesson. Remember, naamoy objectives, di ba? Now, this is kung naamoy mga objectives nga kinahanglan ipa-test, then diri niyo ibutang. So diri niyo ibutang ang quiz para sa inyong mga students. So appropriate assessment task or for example inyo ha kay performance. So diri po niyo ibutang ang like performance nila unsa ilahang buhaton. And it provides the evidence of learning, checks mastery of concepts and skills, and informs both the teacher and learners of progress and areas needing improvement. But for me, amo suggest ko ninyo ang inyong ibutang gyud diri kay inyohang quiz gyud. So 10-item quiz about the topic that you have given. Now, the parts of this evaluating learning is first is evaluating learning. So, it is a way of assessing the learners and whether the learning objectives have been met. So, dili ninyo ibutang ang katong quiz ninyo together with the correct answers ibutang ninyo dito sa note to teacher. Next is teacher's remarks. Now, this one serves as your documentation as a teacher. So unsa may mga nakit-an ninyo sa inyong pag-implement sa lesson. So what are effective strategies that you have used? What are the challenges that you have encountered? Kamusta man ang engagement with the learner? And unsa may nabay issue sa pag-use ninyo sa inyong mga materials. So put that one in your teacher's remarks. And then it serves as evidence-based input for improving future instruction. But for this one, for our IMA, dili ko mo-require ninyo ani kay of course wala ko man ninyo natudlo. So you can leave this as blank. Same thing with here as well, which is teacher's reflection, which is how uh, how you as a teacher will analyze your instructional decisions, learner responses, and overall effectiveness. So this is where you put in your areas of improvement, possible adjustments as well for future teaching practice. And that's it for our lesson on lesson planning. I will be giving you the links as well to a sample, a template, and the revised Matatag curriculum guide for English grade 7. Thank you, everyone, and see you in our next video on writing assessment rubrics.